Oi, anyone that's been involved in an argument, in a dispute, knows how difficult it is to pull out in the middle. How difficult it is to admit error. How difficult it is, even more so, even where you're not admitting error, but to quiet the dispute and to pull out of the argument. The Torah tells us in this week's portion, don't be like Korach. Korach and his cohorts, they held on to this terrible, terrible argument against Moses and Aaron. They refused to back down. Torah is telling us, back down, don't maintain a dispute, and that is a mitzvah. That's a mitzvah that we can perform often, very often in our lives without even realizing it. There's an interaction with another person, a domestic, a family, community, and holding back from a dispute is a great mitzvah that's taught to us in this week's portion. There's another way to look at this verse, Rabbi Chayim teaches. Don't be like Korach and his cohorts, meaning you're not like Korach and his cohorts and the argument against Moses. Because in that argument, Korach was 100% wrong, and Moses was 100% right. Don't be like the argument of Korach with Moses, because we're not Moses. Most of the time when we're involved in a dispute, in an argument, yes, of course, the other person is wrong. Is the other person 100% wrong? And am I 100% clean? By and large, says Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, you'll think about it and you'll find, yes, the other person is so wrong. But there is a percentage of mistake that I have made. Maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 5%, maybe it's 1%. Maybe it's a word, the way I express something. Maybe it's the way I didn't express something. Maybe it's the way I did something. Maybe it's the way I didn't do something. But it is rare in a dispute, rare that each person, that there's a person that's 100% clean. So the Torah is telling us that when we're involved in a dispute, yes, of course, the other person is wrong, and so very wrong. But it's a giant mitzvah to stop and think, well, in this dispute where the other person is wrong and I'm so right, is there anything that I did to contribute to this dispute? And if there is, the Torah is telling us, pull out, admit it, and pull out of this dispute. It's a giant mitzvah. In our times when the whole world seems to be against us, it's a giant mitzvah for us to be together, to generate love for one another. And if we do get involved in a dispute, because we are humans, we're not angels, let's have the strength to recognize any mistakes that we have made and pull out, quiet the dispute and pull out. Whether it's a giant dispute, whether it's even a small domestic dispute, let's remember this beautiful mitzvah in this week's portion. Don't be like Korach. You're in a dispute, pull out, quiet it down. Have a beautiful Shabbos, and let's do our share to generate peace and love among our people.